Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're putting together the pieces of a deeply complex and really tragic story that's been unfolding out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
It's just a shocking sequence of events.
It is. And this isn't just about, statistics. It's about two families, an entire community just left in shock over the span of about 24 hours.
Exactly. So our mission today is pretty heavy, but it's vital. We're taking all the sources we have, the police reports, the legal filings, community statements, and trying to synthesize them.
To understand the facts.
Right, the facts, the confirmed legal path forward, and maybe most critically, this huge informational vacuum right at the heart of the whole tragedy.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Because the speed of it and the alleged connection is what makes this so difficult to process.
It's almost unprecedented.
We're talking about a police shooting one afternoon, and then the very next day, the alleged targeted killing of a law enforcement officer. So let's start at the beginning, on Thursday afternoon.
The initial incident, it involved Cincinnati police officers and an 18-year-old named Ryan Hinton.
Mm-hmm.
According to the official reports that we've seen in our sources, there was some kind of confrontation, and Ryan Hinton was ultimately shot and killed by the police.
And the key detail that law enforcement has put out there is that he was armed and fleeing from the officers when it happened.
That detail is crucial. Armed and fleeing. It immediately sets up the standard for the internal police review, for the use of deadly force.
But the community, they barely had a moment to even start processing the loss of this young man before the focus shifted just dramatically.
It really did. Less than a day later, on Friday, the community gets hit with a second fatality.
Deputy Larry Henderson.
A long-serving, really dedicated member of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. He was on duty and was fatally struck by a vehicle.
And this is where that alleged, just devastating connection comes in. It creates a narrative that, it sounds almost unbelievable.
It does.
Authorities very quickly alleged that the driver of that vehicle was 38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr.
Who is Ryan Hinton's father.
Exactly. The son is killed by police on Thursday. The father allegedly kills a deputy on Friday. That timeline sent, just absolute shockwaves through the region.
And it creates this almost unbearable weight for the legal system.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the legal situation right after that second incident, what's fascinating is the speed and the severity of the charges filed against the father.
Rodney Hinton Jr.
He's been formally charged with aggravated murder in connection with Deputy Henderson's death.
Aggravated murder. That is not a charge authorities just throw around lightly. That tells you they're pursuing the highest possible level of intent.
Absolutely.
Can you break that down for us? What does that charge imply, especially this early, before any public motive has even been established?
Right. So the decision to charge aggravated murder in Ohio is it's highly significant. It goes way beyond simple homicide or, reckless driving that results in a death.
This isn't an accident charge.
Not at all. The prosecution is basically alleging that Hinton Jr. purposefully, and maybe with some degree of premeditation, caused the death of Deputy Henderson. They're moving forward as if this was a targeted, deliberate act.
So the charge itself is sending a message.
It's a huge message. It strongly suggests the investigation already has evidence pointing toward a planned attack, even if we, the public, haven't seen that evidence yet.
So the charges are speaking volumes, regardless of what we actually know about the why. And these two events, they've now kicked off two totally separate but simultaneous legal processes.
That's right. It's a dual investigation scenario. The first event, the police shooting of Ryan Hinton, that falls under an internal review by the Cincinnati Police Department.
Standard procedure.
Exactly. They're looking at protocol. Did the officer's actions line up with policy on use of deadly force when a suspect is fleeing? Was it justified under state law and their own rules?
And then the second investigation into Deputy Henderson's death, that's a full-blown criminal case.
Correct. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office is running that one, with help from other agencies. It's a comprehensive criminal investigation against Rodney Hinton Jr.
And their goal is different.
Much different. They're focused on gathering physical evidence, witness testimony, and crucially, evidence of intent to support that aggravated murder charge. They have to build a case to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a much, much higher bar than in the internal police review.
And while all these legal gears are grinding, we have to pause and just acknowledge the immense human cost here.
Mm-hmm.
This tragedy took 2 lives from this community. Let's start with Deputy Henderson.
Deputy Henderson was, by all accounts, just deeply embedded in the community he served. Our sources point to his long tenure over 2 decades with the sheriff's office.
A veteran officer.
Seasoned veteran, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was remembered not just as an officer, but as a committed public servant, known for his steady dedication. I mean, the loss to the sheriff's office is profound.
And then there's the other side of this, the loss of Ryan Hinton, an 18-year-old. His life was just starting.
And the sources, they really convey the crushing grief his family is feeling. His grandmother gave this really tender description of him. She called him a sweet, gentle giant.
Wow.
And that just highlights the tragedy of a young man, on the cusp of adulthood, whose life was cut short so suddenly.
And that juxtaposition,
Yeah.
the legal facts from police saying armed and fleeing, and then the family's memory of him, it just makes it even harder for the community to process what happened first.
It forces you to grapple with the whole multifaceted reality of loss.
Okay, so here's where it gets really complex. This is the information gap that's fueling so much of the public speculation, the motive.
The why.
We have the alleged act, we have the severe charge of aggravated murder, but every source we have emphasizes that the motive behind Rodney Hinton Jr.'s alleged actions remains, quote, shrouded in mystery.
And that phrase, that's a clear signal from journalists that the official record is, for now, almost totally silent on the why.
So no one is talking.
No one. Not law enforcement, not the attorney representing the Hinton family. No one has publicly disclosed any potential reason for Hinton Jr.'s alleged actions. And this isn't just a missing piece of trivia. It's the whole foundation for the aggravated murder charge.
Right. Let's connect that to the bigger picture. For the prosecution, how big of a legal hurdle is this absence of a publicly stated motive?
It's fundamental. I mean, it's everything.
To get a conviction on aggravated murder.
Yes. To get that conviction, they have to prove the act was deliberate and connected to his son's death. A clear act of revenge targeting law enforcement. If they can't prove that, the defense will argue for a lesser charge.
Like what?
Maybe reckless homicide, manslaughter, or, a sudden uncontrollable moment of grief and rage. The defense's whole goal will be to introduce reasonable doubt about his intent.
So the prosecutors right now are digging for anything.
Every phone record, every social media post, every witness. They're looking for that one piece of evidence that establishes motive and therefore proves intent.
And our sources make it clear this information vacuum isn't just a legal problem, it's severely damaging the community's ability to heal.
Oh, absolutely. When violence like this happens, people need a rational why, however dark it is. It's part how people find closure.
And when there isn't one.
The absence of official fact is immediately filled by public speculation. And that speculation is often fueled by grief, by anger. It can lead to misinformation. It can deepen distrust between the community and law enforcement.
It stops any kind of unified healing process.
It does. The community is just left grappling with the sheer senselessness of it all, without the context they need to even begin to understand.
So what does this all mean for Cincinnati right now? They're caught between mourning two lives and watching two incredibly high-stakes investigations play out.
Well, the immediate focus in Cincinnati, according to our sources, is on supporting the families and trying to move toward healing. There are support efforts, counseling resources being made available.
For what is basically a collective trauma.
It is a collective trauma. It's affecting the civilian community and the law enforcement community at the same time.
And you can feel this collective desire for answers, not just legally, but morally.
Yes. The outcome of that internal police review and the outcome of the criminal trial, those are the two avenues the community has for getting any kind of clarity. Clarity on the use of force and clarity on this alleged act of vengeance.
It is interesting that the community seems to be really focused on supporting both families.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even with these polarizing facts, there's a struggle for understanding that's essential to preventing this kind of thing from happening again. They're looking for accountability on both sides of this tragedy.
So this has been a deep dive into these dual tragedies in Cincinnati. The death of Ryan Hinton, the death of Deputy Larry Henderson, the severe aggravated murder charge facing Rodney Hinton Jr., and this compelling, just crucial absence of a motive.
It's the defining missing piece.
It is.
And here's the final thought for you to consider. Legal justice, it requires proof of intent, especially for a charge this serious. But given how deeply this absence of a clear motive has fueled so much pain and speculation in the community, you have to recognize something. The investigation's success in revealing that why, it's not just about securing a conviction, it's about providing the narrative clarity that the community needs to achieve any measure of true reconciliation and to, finally move forward. We really encourage you to keep following the specifics here as the legal and investigatory developments unfold.